for joining us today for another live Q&A with Zahid. And Zahid, welcome back. I'm excited to dig into this topic with you today.
Thanks, Ashley, for having me.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get right into it. So today we're going to be diving into how you can make 10,000 a month from a side hustle. And Zahid, that number was kind of like a turning point for you, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the 10K number is very special to me. Why? Because I was able to, build my financial freedom from the point when I started making 10K a month in profit 7 years ago. So this number was not a huge number back then, but still I was able to build multiple incomes on top of this. Why? Because it gave me financial freedom to experiment different things. I was financial free. I could experiment different things. I could play around with different business models because I did not start with any outside money and any investors or any VC money. So whatever I did or still I do, so I play around with my own money. So back then, 7 years ago, when I started making 10K a month in profit. So I thought it's a good start, and the reason why I count it a good number because anywhere you live, New York or Berlin or Miami, so you can live, comfortably with 10K a month. So you cannot live lavish, but still you can pay your bills. You can, reinvest some of the money into the things that you want to experiment. If you are not raising big VC money, so your goal should be at least to make 10K a month so that you can pay your bills, live, like a little bit comfortably, and then start experimenting the things, start playing around with ideas so that you can build up uh, your business, you can build up life on your own terms.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's like such a powerful shift as well. Kind of like thinking like hitting that one financial milestone can totally reframe our mindset. So speaking of reframing, what kind of when you hit that number, how did your perspective on business change in general?
So it gave me, like a lot of confidence back then. I was playing around with different business models. So it was 7 years ago. I had left my corporate job, so I was not having any income back then. No financial means. I had some savings, and I was playing around with different business models. I started an e-commerce store on Amazon. I started an e-commerce store on Shopify, and one of my product, it was very successful and it started making 10K per month in profit. So it gave me, like a proof that I can make things work. Even this was, like not a huge number. So, but it gave me enough confidence. Okay, I can live, like without my full-time job. I can build a source of income. And from that point on, I built multiple sources of income. So today I have four sources of income: an e-commerce business. Then I have an agency. We also run micro SaaS apps, and I also run a consulting and coaching business. So 10K was a number back then that gave me confidence, that gave me also courage to experiment. So I did not spend all of, like 10K that I was earning per month in paying my expenses. So I was living, like a student. So not living, like lavishly. So just saving as much as I could, and I basically reinvested 60-70% of that 10K every month into new businesses. So even they were, like small income streams back then, but in the long term it paid me well. So when I look back and I see how making 10K a month from Amazon and Shopify changed my perspective, completely changed my life, like being dependent on corporate income. And I moved from that point on to being on my own. So it has been 7 years now. So, and I'm super excited and I'm very happy what I did back then.
Absolutely. Yeah, like some freedom, like a breathing room, I love that. So let's dive into maybe the more practical side of things then. So for listeners aiming to have that goal, to have that courage to experiment with what they're doing, what would maybe you say is their first move they should make?
Yeah, it's very, common, fair, and logical question. A lot of people ask me this. So you need to find your niche where you are good at. Because so there are definitely two routes of starting a business. Either you raise VC money, or like some seed money. If you had a killer idea, or you think you have a very niche idea, or you can raise VC money. So this was not my way back then. So what I did was not something which was very special. So a lot of people were doing it, but I applied. So I was good at digital marketing, running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, setting up an online store. So this was, like kind of my niche. So because I learned these digital skills back then, 7 years ago. So what I did, I applied those skills in Amazon FBA and dropshipping, so on Shopify, and it eventually paid off. So what I suggest, what you need to do is find out, like a niche outside your corporate working environment. So you can be, like a very good salesperson for your big corporation. You are selling solutions for millions of dollars, but you need to see what else you can do on top of your job. So do you have any skill? Are you good with using AI, or are you good, like building small solutions or small apps or anything else, like running Facebook, Instagram ads? And can you build a stable income using these skills on top of your existing income? Right, first you need to ask this question. And if the answer is no, then you can go and learn these skills. So today with AI, so you can do a lot of stuff. You can build small things, you can play around, you can test. For example, drop shipping is really good. So it's still hot. It was hot back then, it is still hot, because there is no big risk involved in drop shipping. You can start an online store with just $1 on Shopify. It's crazy, so
Yeah.
you can integrate a lot of AI tools, add creatives AI for ads. You can use multiple tools for product research. Uh, and you can do a lot of stuff with AI. So even if you are not, very good designer, you are not very good with technology, you can leverage AI and build something which you can live from in the long term. So the goal can be, like 5,000 a month, 6,000 a month, or 10,000 a month, or 20,000 a month, depending upon, like how much money you need. So
Right.
back then, 7 years ago, I thought, okay, I need 10,000 euros every month, like to have this freedom or independence, that I can be on my own. And I kept doing it, and then on top of that, I did not stop there. And then I built multiple streams of income utilizing that 10K which was coming every month, and now it's a substantial number. So we have built businesses that scale millions of dollars of products on multiple platforms. On top of that, a coaching and consulting business, and then SaaS apps as well. Then we have, like a full scale agency with 30 plus people based in three continents: Europe, US, and Asia. And still, it is a journey. So we are going forward.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. I actually completely agree with you. I think people kind of often underestimate the skills they already have. So now you also mentioned focusing on your own value, of course. So can you maybe expand on how someone can stand out in the crowded markets of today?
So it's a very good question. So because whenever we talk about, like starting an online business, um, often we hear this feedback that the market is very crowded. So I remember when I was starting my
Oh, hold on, Zahid. I can't hear you. I can't
I
hear
think
you.
my internet
Oh,
was
there we
reconnecting.
go. You're back. We're
Do
good.
you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was some interruption in my
Yeah,
internet.
no worries. How can someone stand out in crowded markets?
Yeah, so the point I was trying to make, so everything is crowded, everywhere is competition, right? But people are successful, right? So there are companies that are successful in competitive environment. There are not many new ideas around, right? So a lot of things have been implemented. So if you are building, like a super niche product or something that is, that has not been built before, um, you might need, like a lot of funding, VC money, or like a lot of people to figure out. But if you want to take the route that I have taken, so like applying your skills or learning skills um, in niches that are already working or that are making money, for example, e-commerce, drop shipping, digital marketing, Facebook, Instagram ads. So these are the things where you need to differentiate yourself from others. For example, if you are a good digital marketing person, you want to offer your services, you need to figure out in the start what is one vertical you want to go after, right? So you may not want to reach out to, like companies from 30 verticals. It can be e-commerce, or it can be restaurants, or it can be any other small verticals where you can win quick customers. You can provide a good service, you can get testimonials, and then you can build on top of this. It is going to be a gradual process always. It will not be, 10K in the first month. So it can start, like from 2K, 3K, and go all the way to, like upwards to 10K or 100K a month.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, Value over hype. I think, that's key for sure. And another huge piece of, what you were just talking about in your journey seems to be consistency, which when me and you go live, we like to talk about a bit. So of course, I'm going to ask you a consistency question. Can you talk maybe a little bit about your experience staying committed through the tough and the early stages where maybe you're not having many sales in the first month or maybe not hitting your goals?
Um, so it still happens. Like after 7 years, there are months when like you are not hitting your goals. There are months when it becomes very tough. So what really helped me, I write down my goals for every month, right? So I'm not big fan of writing down yearly goals. I write down monthly goals. I write them down on a piece of paper and on my notebook, and that is always with me. And I look at my goals every day. So even though I use like 10 apps for tracking different things from my team members, but I when it come to my goals, I write them down with pen on a piece of paper, and then I track them as well. In the end, if you don't hit your goals in 1 month, you just need to carry them with you to the next month. If you
Right.
don't hit them in the next month, you go to the third month, fourth, fifth, sixth. But the real challenge here is that you don't give up on these goals. Once you have written down these goals, you do everything to achieve these goals. And if you cannot achieve them alone, find someone who can help you achieve these goals. I have set up a lot of goals that I was not able to achieve myself. So I was not a good designer myself when I started my first business, which was e-commerce. So I knew I am not going to be like a great designer because I don't have those skills. But what I did is I hired my first team member, and he was a very good designer. He helped me figure out a lot of stuff. It saved me a lot of time. So write down your goals, try to achieve them at every cost. If you cannot achieve them alone, try to partner up with people who can help you achieve those goals. Then it becomes like a teamwork. If you cannot hire employees in the start, if you are small, go on revenue share basis. Find like-minded people who want to do the same things, and then share the revenue, right? Do 50-50 split, do 60-40 split. There are multiple ways of doing it. So it's not like always that you want to always hire people on fixed salaries. So I think these were some of the things that really helped me when I started, like 7 years ago. And it is always, like a challenge. So there will always be time when you are not hitting your goals. But that does not mean that you give up on your goals, right?
Right, right. I completely agree. And I also love what you said, like teamwork in the long game, I feel really is everything at that point. So, But beyond, we've only talked about, the financial reward, but beyond the financial reward, the real transformation seems to be really personal. So, can I ask how your lifestyle has changed since, achieving your goals?
So for me, it was always about freedom, you know. So I was making good money from my corporate job. I never had issues, you know, like finding good jobs. I worked in very good companies in international working environments. But for me, starting a business was all about freedom. So I was, of course, money is a big part of that. I was not chasing, to be honest, when I started my first business, I was not chasing big money back then. Of course, I had financial goals so that I can live from my income. I am not financially dependent on other people. For me, it was always about freedom. It is still about freedom. So whenever I start anything new, I check the first box is how much freedom this new income stream is going to give me in the long term,
Love
how
that.
much this new income stream is going to help me to achieve my, you know, like 10 years goal. And same is the case when I work with other people. So all the people in my team, so I work with them because I like them, right? So they help me achieve my goals, I help them achieve their goals, right? So but this can be different for everyone. So maybe the person who is listening to this conversation, maybe his goal is to make 100,000 in the first month when going for his own business, so which is completely fine, right? After I achieved, you know, like this financial freedom that I can live from the money that I make from my business, and I started paying myself a salary. So I still get a, you know, like a fixed salary every month from my company, and I am an employee of my company as well, right? So I always treat myself as an employee, right? So for my company. So the feeling that when I got my first salary from my company, so this feeling was, I think I cannot describe that. It was not about money. It was about freedom, that I can live without my job, full-time job. I can go on my own. I can learn the skills. I can sell something. I can convince people to pay me for the problem they cannot solve, you know. And this is something which I still enjoy, you know. So
Yeah.
for me, this is the biggest reward. So also after being in business for 7 years and setting up multiple income streams, making money, losing money as well, right? This is part of business.
Of
So
course.
I think this is the kind of feeling which I enjoy every day when I show up at work, that I can figure out, even if I lose everything that I have, you know, like lose all my bank balance, or I have if I have to change the country, right? So I can start from zero. I can find people who can help me build up a new business. I can make things work, and I don't need to go back and then ask a company to employ me and pay me a fixed salary every month. So for me, this is the kind of freedom that I enjoy more than money. So my lifestyle has not changed a lot. So I still live, you know, like I live an average lifestyle, I would say. I'm not a big fan of living very lavishly. I invest most of money I make into new businesses, into new income streams. I hire people. I invest in their training. I invest in their salaries. So I think this is something that I really enjoy. So more than the money that I make.
Absolutely. I love to hear that. That's absolutely fantastic. I really love that you help, other business owners accomplish the same freedom that you have, like that breathing room we talked about. Um, and we're gonna wrap this up. This is my last question for you. What final piece of advice would you give someone who's maybe on the fence about starting their own side hustle? Oh, hold on, I lost you again. I can't
Your
hear you.
question once again?
Oh, I've got you.
Yeah,
The
sorry,
last
for some reason, like,
Yeah, no worries. It's being weird today. So my last question is, what final piece of advice would you give someone who's maybe on the fence about starting their own side hustle?
Yeah, so my final piece of advice would be you have to have some confidence in yourself. I often see this people, I meet people, they tell me, like they are going to start a business, like next month. And then the next month passes and it is another year, and then another year, another year, another year. So
Right.
I suggest, or my advice would be simple. If you really want to build a business for yourself in the long term and you are fed up with your job, go and take action, right? You don't need to leave your job, you don't need to resign, right? So you don't need to tell your boss that you are building a business. So you work for your job how many hours? 8 hours, 10 hours, maximum 12 hours. You still have a lot of time left, you have weekends left, right? So you have time left in the evening. So what I suggest, pick up a business model. It can be an e-commerce, digital marketing agency, or anything else that you like or you think you can build a product around. Go for it. Start implementing the things, start taking actions rather than just thinking that I will do it one day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah, invest in yourself, have confidence in yourself, just start. I love that. Yeah. Well, that's like I said, that was the last question I have for you. So, Zahid, thank you so much for being here and for breaking this all down. And for everyone listening, we'll be back with another live tomorrow around the same time if you want to tune in. So, it was great talking with you, Zahid. Take care.
Thanks, Ashley, for having me. Take care. Bye bye.
See ya.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like
Oh my God.